They say love makes us do unimaginable things. But what happens when love turns into betrayal? This is the story of Sarah, a 52-year-old woman who fell head over heels for a man she met online. He seemed perfect, kind, attentive, and always saying the right things. Over months of sweet messages and long phone calls, she believed she found her soulmate. But behind his charming words was a darker motive. By the time Sarah realized the truth, her entire life savings, $87,000, was gone. Heartbroken and determined, Sarah decided to do something most wouldn't dare. She set out to track him down. What started as an online love story turned into a real-life hunt for justice. But as Sarah got closer to finding the man who shattered her trust, she uncovered shocking truths she never saw coming. Stay tuned, this is a journey you won't forget. Sarah's world had crumbled the moment she realized the man she thought she knew was nothing more than a carefully crafted lie. His name, his job, even the sweet stories he'd shared about his family, all fake. She couldn't understand how someone could be so cruel, preying on her kindness and trust. But instead of retreating into despair, Sarah made a bold decision. She wasn't going to let him get away with it. As she pieced together their conversations, small details stood out. Things she'd brushed off before now seemed suspicious. A mismatched accent, vague answers about his whereabouts, and the strange urgency in his requests for money. Determined to uncover the truth, Sarah began her own investigation. Late nights were spent combing through emails and messages, retracing every step of their online relationship. What she found left her both shocked and afraid. Clues that suggested she wasn't his only victim. Sarah's world had crumbled the moment she realized the man she thought she knew was nothing more than a carefully crafted lie. His name, his job, even the sweet stories he'd shared about his family, all fake. She couldn't understand how someone could be so cruel, preying on her kindness and trust. But instead of retreating into despair, Sarah made a bold decision. She wasn't going to let him get away with it. As she pieced together their conversations, small details stood out. Things she'd brushed off before now seemed suspicious. A mismatched accent, vague answers about his whereabouts, and the strange urgency in his requests for money. Determined to uncover the truth, Sarah began her own investigation. Late nights were spent combing through emails and messages, retracing every step of their online relationship. What she found left her both shocked and afraid. Clues that suggested she wasn't his only victim. Sarah's search led her to a small cafe in a bustling city halfway across the country. A name she'd uncovered during her sleepless nights of research matched someone who frequented this spot, a man who fit the description of her so-called lover. With her heart racing, she sat near the entrance, clutching a photo she'd printed from his social media profile. It was the only trace of him she had, and even that felt surreal, like staring at the face of a stranger who had stolen everything from her. Hours passed, and just as she began to doubt herself, a man walked in. He wasn't quite as polished as the pictures suggested, but the resemblance was undeniable. Sarah's breath caught as she watched him laugh casually with the staff. How could he seem so normal, so unbothered, after everything he'd done? Her hands trembled as she debated what to do next. Confront him, follow him, or wait for more answers. As Sarah wrestled with her next move, she noticed something that made her stomach drop. The man wasn't alone. A young woman joined him at the counter, laughing as they shared an intimate conversation. At first, Sarah thought it might be a friend or a colleague, but then she caught sight of something that left her stunned. The woman handed him an envelope. His casual glance inside, followed by a satisfied nod, felt far too familiar. It was exactly how he had acted when Sarah had transferred money to him. Polite, charming, and calculated. This wasn't just a coincidence. Sarah realized she wasn't the only one he had been deceiving. The scene confirmed her worst fear. This man was still running his scheme, and this woman could be his next victim. Suddenly, it wasn't just about getting her money back. Sarah felt a surge of urgency. She had to act before someone else lost everything. Summoning all her courage, Sarah stood up and approached the man. Her voice trembled as she called his name, the name he had used with her online. He turned, his confident smile vanishing as recognition flashed in his eyes. For a moment, there was silence, thick with tension, as the young woman beside him looked confused. Sarah quickly explained who she was and how he had scammed her, showing the woman the evidence she had gathered. The man tried to deny everything, but his face betrayed him. Before he could slip away, Sarah had already called the police, who arrived just in time. As they took him into custody, the young woman tearfully admitted that she, too, had been sending him money, believing his lies. Just when Sarah thought it was over, a final twist emerged. The man wasn't working alone. Authorities uncovered a network of accomplices, leaving Sarah wondering how many more lives they had destroyed. In the weeks that followed, Sarah worked closely with authorities, providing every detail she had uncovered. Her courage not only helped bring the man to justice, but also exposed the larger web of fraudsters behind the scheme. Dozens of victims came forward, each with their own heartbreaking stories of trust betrayed. It wasn't easy for Sarah to relive her pain, but knowing she'd helped stop others from falling into the same trap gave her a sense of closure. Though the money she lost was never fully recovered, Sarah found something more valuable: her strength. She learned the importance of trusting her instincts and being cautious in the digital world. Her story became a warning for others, a reminder to stay vigilant and protect themselves. As Sarah moved forward, she carried a renewed sense of purpose, determined to rebuild her life and help others avoid the same heartbreak she had endured.